Hello, hello. So, today I'll be streaming Test Drive Le Mans on the Dreamcast because it is the 24-hour Le Mans weekend. I believe it is starting tomorrow around 4ish Eastern, as it usually does, and ends on Sunday at around that same time, since it is 24 hours. So, Test Drive Le Mans 24 hours. Probably one of my most favorite racing games on any system. I'm sure it has aged quite a bit since it came out and I enjoyed it, but most likely it is still going to be an enjoyable game. So without further ado, let's get that started. Hopefully the Dreamcast isn't too loud. I had to move it around a bit since I did do a little remodeling here, and I'm not finished with that yet. Anyways, this game has a bit of a longer intro, but we'll watch it because it could be interesting. It is a game by Infogrames, their Melbourne house location, which before that was known as can't remember now. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, here's the intro. While you guys enjoy that, while my mind tries to think of what that developer was called. Pretty cool intro, I think, mixing actual race footage with in-game footage just to get you pumped and ready to go. The game itself is more than just this one race, but let's get into the menus and I'll figure out what I actually want to play as far as the game goes. My volume is a bit low, but hopefully I'll be able to hear the game. I gotta get some headphones or something, because otherwise the volume of the speakers here will interfere with the volume on the microphone. It's not a good picture. Hopefully I'll get some nice headphones and we'll go from there. So, yes, we do want to save. Test Drive Le Mans. Press start. So we got a quick race, a championship, Le Mans 24 hours, time trial and options. Let's check out the options first. A lot of options. Speed display, miles per hour, sure. Vibrations, yep, we do have our vibration pack on there. Initial camera, high, sure. Race, quick race, Le Mans, multiplayer, time trial, quick race. So, I am thinking of possibly doing a Le Mans race, and the cool thing about this game is that it gives you options of playing the whole 24-hour race in 10 minutes. Like, you will actually see the sun rise up, moon go up, whatever, and it's gonna, the whole race, the 24 hours will span 10 minutes. You can do it in 30 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hours, and 24 hours. As you can see, tire conditions and fuel usage changes depending on which time frame you take. I was thinking of doing a 6-hour race, and it is an actual 6 hour of the Le Mans race, but given that I started at 8, I don't think I'll be doing that. I might do the 1 hour race, but first I want to get used to the controls. Let me just do a quick race. Let's see what the controls are. A button, gear up, a gear down. I'll be using an automatic transmission because I am too lazy for that. Look behind, X, view, left or right. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Audio, hopefully audio for you guys is okay. Radio station. Okay, we'll stay with breeze. Language, English. Progress. As you can see, all it's sort of like achievements, I guess. Though it does unlock some of the progress. Like you can do a quick race and unlock the other races as you go along. The Le Mans race, as you can see, you can unlock the different races as you go along as well, completing them, and you get a reward of a different car if you do the 1 hour, the 6 hour, or the 24-hour race. Don't really know anybody who actually done the 24-hour race, because you do have to sit and play for 24 hours, or I guess you could pause the game and go to sleep if you want to leave your console running for more than 24 hours. Time trials, you see you get a reward for every single one. Quick race, if you do a quick race you have to do all of them before you get a reward for that. And championship, different championships at different skill levels and different cars reward different cars as you go along. I would say let's do a time trial just to see if we can unlock, let's say Suzuka East, just to unlock a different car, see how that goes. Let's see, time trial. So we got choice of different cars from different classes, but since we are trying to go as fast as possible, we will stick with a LMP or whatever they are called these days. Looks like they're not really arranged in any sort of specific way. You know, the Audi is a great car. Yeah, let's go with an Audi. Automatic, manual. Yeah, we said automatic. We'll try intermediate difficulty. I know amateur is really easy, expert is really hard, and intermediate is closer to amateur rather than expert, but that's what we're gonna go with. As you can see, it changes also not only how the AI drives, but also what kind of aids you have. You have driving aids or auto braking. This one is sort of in the middle, so we will go with that. And we said we want to try out Suzuka East. So what are the options? 3, ghost car on, wet or dry, that's fine. Let's just race. Let's get the race started just to get used to the controls. Like I said, I was going to do a 6-hour race, but given also the Dreamcast controller, I don't think my hands would be able to handle that. Let's see here. Oh, wheel spin. Just getting used to the controls. View is okay. Good. So as far as circuits go, in racing games, Suzuka is definitely one of my more favorite ones. Though I haven't really played any racing, like actual racing games, in a long time. So trying to remember the circuit layout isn't going to work for me. Plus, this is just the East version of it. So it is a really short version of it, not the actual full circuit. We are trying to beat 43 seconds. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, got a little tighter than I expected there. So one neat thing about the Dreamcast version of this game, or really just this game in particular, is you do have a ghost car to race against. As you can see on the minimap, it is represented by the red dot. It's doing a pretty good job of catching up to me because of my screw up in the first turn. Hopefully we will be able to do a better job on the last lap. So it doesn't look like we're gonna be beating the records yet. It's gonna take a little while to get used to just how well the car turns at speed. Not too bad. Pretty close to... Oh, there we go. Yeah, pretty close. 42.97 with a goal time of 43 seconds. So yeah, we did manage to get it. So let's see what car we earned from that. Don't need to watch the replay. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do a 1 hour of the Le Mans circuit, and we will see afterwards if I still feel like playing anymore. New car. Isn't this the car that we were using? Or is this a newer version of it? Well, can't tell you. They all look the same to me. Race again? No. We will go and start. Oops, sorry. Gotta change in the options. Le Mans. We will do 1 hour. Le Mans. Alright, we got the open cockpit version of it. If we can find it, let's see here. It would be nice if the different stats had actual numbers on them, not just gauges. So this is the one we just unlocked, which is it's a little bit faster and better brakes. So we will definitely take this one. We will stick with intermediate. Let's see here. Workshop, fuel, downforce, gear, soft, that's fine with me. Options, race duration's fine. So let's qualify. Let's see how it goes. It's been a long time since I've driven on this track. Hopefully I'm not too rusty. Best lap by Adam. I'm not sure if I ever... That's a quick start. Yeah, you do get 2 laps to do a qualifying. So hopefully we won't do too badly on our second lap. Right. There's the famous Dunlop overpass. And a Ferris wheel. So as you can see from the display, we do have a tire gauge, tire, I guess, degradation gauge on the right side that will tell us how our tires are doing during the race. We got all our fuel gauge, RPMs, miles per hour. So another thing that changes with difficulty is if you set it to a higher difficulty, the car will go faster. Which I guess has its pluses and minuses. So if you really want to beat those lap records, you really do have to set it to the highest difficulty just to get the top speed from the car. I sort of do want to set the difficulty to expert just because I am familiar with the game, but I do know that the other cars become much better on that difficulty, and I don't really want to come in last. As far as graphics go, pretty good, I would say. When this game came out, the graphics were fantastic. Right now, they're not too bad. I guess you could say you would expect graphics like this, like on a mobile game or something. So the poll time is 3:38. I'm already 3 minutes into this lap. So we did get a cold start. So hopefully we will be able to get close to it with our second lap. So the Dreamcast does have a pretty heavy-duty vibration add-on pack thing, and it's pretty neat. If you drive over one of the curbs or onto the grass, you really feel it. But speaking of feeling it, I am feeling my wrists already, asking why, and then I screwed up. So I don't see our pole lap happening. I guess I do complain a lot about the Dreamcast controller whenever I'm playing it, and it has not gotten better with age, for me or for the Dreamcast. And it's pretty weird because the controller itself has all the features that you would ever want from a controller. It's just too narrow or something, and it's forcing your wrists to hold it at an angle, while at the same time the trigger buttons feel like they're too far into the controller, so even your fingers on the throttle feel it. I do have an aftermarket controller for the Dreamcast as well, which is much wider, and it is a little bit better, but not by much. That one is too big, and unfortunately they don't really make aftermarket controllers for the Dreamcast anymore, so no options there. What I would love to get would be the racing wheel controller for the Dreamcast, which does exist. And I'm sure it would make driving a lot easier. Now, while they don't make Dreamcast controllers anymore, the ones that they did make, like even the aftermarket ones and first-party ones, were pretty interesting in the variety of them that you had. One of the more interesting first-party controllers for the Dreamcast is the fishing controller, which originally came with Sega Bass Fishing, because it is a sort of like a motion controller that the Wii became famous for. And it basically senses your movement of the controller. Like it's shaped like a fishing rod handle, so you actually use it like a fishing rod in the fishing game. And one of the interesting things about that is that you can actually use that controller in other games, sort of like you would use a motion controller on the Wii. Let's see. Well, we improved our lap just a little bit, but that screw up at the beginning of this lap definitely didn't help. So what I found interesting about the fishing controller is that you can use it with the Sega tennis game, and you can just use it like a racket, and it works just like you would be playing on a Wii. And this was, you know, what, 8-10 years before the Wii came out. So here's the starting lineup. Let's see how far down we are. There we go, player 1 in 16th spot. We got last place in the prototype and got outdone by a Viper or whatever that is as well. I believe that's a Viper and a Ferrari there, right above me. But it is a 24-hour race, or a 1-hour race for us. So there's really no point worrying about few spots here and there. It would be cool if somebody developed a game that had this circuit at different eras of the race. Like have one from the 50s, one from the 60s, one from the 70s. Since the track does change a little bit every couple decades or so. And there's all the different ways that the race started as well. So this race starts with a running start. Here comes our car right there. Now let's get ready to race for 1 hour straight. Where's the back view? That's the back view. So hopefully you guys won't get too tired of watching the same. Oops. There's no damage physics in this game, so watching the same lap after lap after lap. Like I said, whoa, shit. Sorry, guy. Like I said, the neat thing about this game is that you will see the day progress as the race progresses. As you can see, there is a time right below the lap counter that shows you what the in-game time is. After having gotten rid of my competitor there, There's nobody behind me. But let's try to keep this a clean race. Or at least as clean as you can get. And yep, there is a slipstream mechanic in this game. You will see it in action. As you can see, the other car is giving off a like sort of an air contrail. Whoa, dude. That you can slip into and go faster. So trying to go behind somebody is sort of hard. So one of the things that I really like about this game is that the AI doesn't drive perfect. Of course, it doesn't help that I'm trying to play bumper cars here. But if you watch the other cars race, you will see that they do make mistakes. They do drive onto the grass. They brake too early or too late. So you're not just following this completely blind AI going through a racing line at a specific speed. Cutting through the grass, probably against the rules somewhere. Trying not to get into this whole pack here without being ready to pass a whole bunch of them. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a mess, just like that. Just like that. So as you can see, the AI doesn't care for the other AI drivers as well. Managed to make a few positions in that lap. It is now... I keep forgetting about this turn somehow. But thankfully that guy was there to rescue me. It's coming up on 6 o'clock. Still a beautiful day outside. See, that guy definitely ran a little wide. I would prefer to do as much overtaking as I can on the straight. Shit. There we go. Just because it's safer that way. Unless I run into them. I don't really remember what time the sun starts setting, but it should be sometime soonish. Though actually, given that it's summertime, maybe around 8 o'clock or before that. But I think you are starting to see a little bit of the sun shining into onto the racetrack in that turn. And that will become a little bit of a problem. For a little bit, since this is only gonna take an hour for the whole thing. Going 3 wide into a turn is not a good idea. Those guys are definitely fighting for it. While there is no race damage in the game, definitely don't want to get into too big of a scrap either. Car models are pretty decent. You can definitely see a lot of details on them as you pass them. Not sure why this car model seems like there's constant light shining onto it. Whoa! My bad. Right, as far as the racetrack goes, this is definitely the part that I don't like in it. The hill with the 2 turns there. And I always seem to screw up here as well, even though the turns aren't too bad. And here he comes. But I'm just gonna do a little crazy driving and screw up. Hopefully, he's still there. But we are already in 5th place. It is 7 o'clock. I really need to remember about that turn. I'm not sure if the Ferris wheel is actually turning. It's maybe, or it just might be because the car is moving, it seems like it's turning. But it's another nice detail. Given the age of this game, it is nice to see a lot of like background features other than the racetrack, of course. Don't really see any people, which you probably wouldn't during the actual race either. But all the little buildings that are actual look-alike to the buildings that are there, all the trees, the Ferris wheel, all those details are a nice touch to get you into the mood that you're actually at the race. Ram them off the road. I have to get to them before I can ram them off the road, Cass. But don't need to ram right here. We just need to drive right through the... I don't remember if there's any brake degradation over time. As you can see, my fuel gauge is still at like 3/4, and my tires are still perfectly green. But I feel like maybe not the brakes themselves degrade, but you will definitely feel that you lose braking power as the tires degrade and lose grip. Which is another nice feature of this game. The tires do definitely matter. And you will see a huge difference between good green tires and like bad yellow or dead red. But we will try to stretch it as far as we can go with these tires. As you can see, there is definitely sun shining into our eyes now. And you got a nice little twilight, and the track lights are on. So it is 8 o'clock and the sun is setting. Sorry, man. The sun's different. And you can start to see stars pop out in the sky as well. That's definitely the slowest part for me here. As you can see, I can't even catch up to that guy, even though we were pretty close to begin with. The chicanes back there are definitely one of my stronger parts as far as catching up to the AI goes. The AI is very careful in those chicanes. But then we get to this turn and I always screw it up. So the grandstands do have some sort of two-dimensional people. That's neat. I do prefer a game that has at least an attempt at having an audience at a racetrack rather than just having empty seats or just completely blank bleachers. Ooh, that guy's catching up. Darker and darker. And I think we managed to avoid the worst of the sun in your eyes that can happen at this racetrack. If we were racing for like the full, let's say 6 hours or 24 hours, you could definitely get into a bad spot and drive right into the sun the whole race. Well, not the whole race, but for a good few laps. But since this is time accelerated, we don't really have that problem. Hey! That's on him. He's the one who crashed into me. Second place, catching up. But as you can see, looking at the tires, they're sort of a yellowish green now. Like I said, I'm going to try to stretch them out as far as I can go. At least 12 hours, let's say. Oop. But that is definitely the result of the tires giving up. It's unfortunate that I have to have these guys tagging along to the section that, like I said, is my weaker section. It is now 10 o'clock. Stars are shining. Lights are on. Those guys are still behind me. Should give us a little bit extra space through here. Let's see here. Fuel is still good. We got 5 seconds that we need to catch up. Shouldn't be too hard. Over the whole race. I guess we will see when that guy pits if we need to pit as well. So another thing that you will notice as your tires degrade is that they do squeal a lot more over pretty much any sort of turn. They're still green-ish, so they're still okay. And like I said, I'm gonna try to make it to 4 a.m. Game time with these tires, so that I can have just one set of tires changed, refueled, and we'll be good to go for the rest of the race. And I know you guys love to hear it, but the controller, the Dreamcast controller, is shit. I'm starting to feel pins and needles in my brake finger. And I'm not looking at the screen. Gotta remember for next time I stream a racing game on the Dreamcast to get the other controller, as it is slightly better. Maybe I'll move a little bit farther to at least get my elbows a little stretched out. We are definitely catching up to him. Let's see if we can make up to him before the lap is done. If you look at the race map, you will notice there is a huge group of people who are way behind, and those are just the GT cars, I guess. Gotta remember that the AI does like to hit the brakes a lot harder and then accelerate sooner than me. Yep. All we gotta do is drive perfectly, not drive onto the grass, and it's gonna be fine. It is now midnight-ish, almost, as I stop paying attention to the race, drive like an idiot. So as far as car speeds go, I believe at the intermediate difficulty, they're very similar between you and the AI. You might have a slight advantage at the top end, but as far as like acceleration and overall speed, you're very similar. They're just more skittish on the turns and make a few more mistakes. I always had a problem with driving at the expert difficulty, because at that point it feels like their cars are faster than your car and they make no mistakes. And while it would be nice to have a little bit more difficulty in this game, it just needs a complete different, like a middle difficulty as far as my skills go, because expert is too hard and this is slightly too easy, I would say. I'm wondering if we will manage to catch up to the other cars that are so far behind there at some point. Now that we have nobody in front of us for a long time, it's going to be a whole lot of nothing. But that guy is falling behind. And I don't really expect my lap times to get that much faster. They will get a little bit slower as the tires get worse. But I think at this difficulty my best time around this track was like 3 minutes and 46-ish or somewhere thereabouts. So it's not going to get that much better. You do really need to drive at the expert difficulty to be able to come close to getting the lap record on this track. So I do wonder if the stars that you see in the sky there are actually accurate as far as the layout goes, or if it's just randomly placed lights. It would be a nice little touch, I guess, but it's probably asking too much to do that sort of research for a video game. With all the lights shining, the track does end up looking a little bit different. But there's not a lot of sections where it's too dark. Probably should try not talking when taking that turn. I find whenever I'm talking, taking that turn is going to be bad. Very few advertisements in this game, and it makes me wonder if they are supposed to be like authentic advertisements, like that's actually what's being advertised there. Like you saw that Bridgestone sign there at the Elf station here, or if they actually managed to get some money from these manufacturers to put their names onto the racetrack. I don't think there was that much product placement back in those days as far as video games go. So it's probably them trying to be authentic. We are getting close to catching up to the other guys. We're about a sector behind. We will probably catch up to them before we need to pit. Though like I said, if we can manage 2 more hours, I'll end up pitting either way. The first lap I was running in first, I managed to get about 7 seconds on the second place guy by this point, but now it's only 9 seconds ahead of him. So we definitely are losing a little bit of time. Granted, we did have a couple of screw-ups back there. Shoot. And another one here. Though our time is somehow getting better. I'm assuming maybe he screwed up in the last sector there. Here's another Bridgestone advertisement. So, if you notice, when you do go off track, you do leave a little bit of mark, or if you skid on the pavement, you do leave like a little rubber patch there. It doesn't persist through the whole race, but it does show up probably for like a lap or so. New best time. Don't know how that happened. I guess the car might be getting a little bit lighter because it's only half fuel now. But I am as surprised as you are that that was a good lap. And we are definitely going to start seeing the slow cars very soon. .3 o'clock, almost halfway there. We can start hearing them, I think. So when they designed this game, they did pay attention to a lot of details as far as the race goes. You will notice that my headlights are white-ish in color, maybe. But the like the slow cars, the GT cars, will have completely different color headlights, like they're supposed to during the actual race. So you can tell apart which car is which. Ooh, close. Let's see here. Yeah, I think from a distance those are yellow while my end up being white. Probably should be looking ahead instead of behind me. But given that we have such a nice lap lead, I'm not too worried about making mistakes now. Because eventually everybody's going to have to go into the pits. Is this a burnt copy? No, it is not. This is the actual thing. I needed to hit the brakes there because I wasn't sure what that Porsche ahead of us is going to do as far as turns go. He seems to be all over the road. So I don't really want to get into it with him, even though it is costing us time. But now that we are more of a straightaway, we're gonna drive on the grass. That'll show him. So as you can see, somebody did go into the pits now. But we will continue on a little bit more. We still got a third more fuel. Tires are still okay, though our lap is 14 seconds slower than the last one. So maybe it will be time to go in. At this point, the problem of going into the pits is that I will come out and have to face all of these slow cars once more. So if we can maybe get ahead of a whole bunch of them before we go in to the pits. Let's see if we can manage that. But I guess if I notice that the lap times are getting much worse, then we'll have to go in. Fuel is still okay for another few more hours. It's more of a tire problem that I'm concerned about. So back in the old days, that chicane did not exist. Neither did the next one. And this was a long straightaway. So if you could build a car that was really fast, you had a huge advantage over here. Hey! I'm trying to drive here. In theory, those guys are supposed to yield to me, but, you know, what can you do? Other than drive on the grass. Speed advantage over the GT cars in the prototypes is huge. So in general, they're not supposed to race you. Like I was saying earlier, it would be nice to have a sort of a historic racetrack version of this, where you have the full Mussolini straight. That's like what I think it's like 5 kilometers or something straight, instead of having those two chicanes. And I believe it is slightly different in this area as well. Though if we continue playing this game, I will also show you that there is a second racetrack in on these grounds. Like, aside from the Le Mans circuit, there's also the what this game calls the Bugatti circuit, which basically takes place on the inside of this racetrack. And is an actual, I think, a racetrack that's built into it. The Le Mans track that we are driving on right now. Oh, there's the sun. The Le Mans track that we are driving on right now is mostly actual. Well, no, not mostly. It is all streets, like actual streets. If you went to France, you could actually go and drive like an idiot like me here on the actual streets. Like, maybe this part here is part of a racetrack, but most of the track is actually a street circuit. That's why when you go on the straight, you can see all those houses, like just normal houses. Makes me wonder what it is like to actually live in those houses and have to put up with a actual full-on race going on right next to your house for the week or so that this race takes place. So that was a pretty fast sunrise, and hopefully we managed to miss the blinding sun. Right now what I want to do is get as far ahead of that whole pack as possible, so that I have some nice clean exit from my pits once I do eventually go in. And I will need to go into the pits to refuel. since what was it, about half the race took about 2/3 of my fuel. There's no way I can finish the race without stopping at least for fuel. New tires would be nice, but definitely not required, because we seem to be doing okay. Though in this mode, this 1 hour mode, tire degradation is set to slow automatically, so it's not as bad as you would expect. If you try going with the 6 hour version, or of course the 24-hour version, you will need to pit much more often just for tires. Let's see how far ahead of him are we. I don't remember what it takes to make a pit stop, but I'm guessing it's about 30 seconds, but it could be longer. So I would love to be close to 30 seconds ahead of the guy in second, so I don't have to deal with him as I exit. I'm sure I already have the space between me and the slope cars. My bad. But I would love to not have to deal with other cars at all, if possible. Though it seems like at this point I am very slowly making some room there between me and the guy in second. But it's really slow. Shit. Gotta concentrate. Let's go with one more lap and then we will decide if it's close enough. Then we'll dive into the pits. It is now almost 8 o'clock. We're still doing decent lap times. But I feel like we could definitely do better lap times if our tires were better. So we're 20 seconds ahead of that guy. And I'm hoping we can at least stretch it to, let's say, 25 seconds or so with this lap. And we'll dive into the pits, get some tires. We will need fuel, though we don't need a full tank. Let's see here. See, we're barely gaining on him, maybe 1 second per sector or so. It's 8 o'clock, we need 8 more hours of fuel. We used up 16 hours, took 2/3, 1/3. So if we can put in another third of fuel, that will definitely be enough for the rest of the race. I don't want to put too much because that will definitely weight the car down, and I definitely don't want to put in too little, because I definitely don't want to make another pit stop as the race closes. So I definitely at some point do want to do like at least the 6-hour version of this. Or maybe like even the 24-hour version of it, if it would be physically possible for me to do it. The 6-hour, I was thinking of doing the 6-hour tonight, but I don't think that makes for decent streaming really, and I would definitely need a different controller so my hand doesn't fall off at some point during the race. That is definitely something that is needed to continue racing. But I would love to fuel low. Yeah, we're going to the pits. 31 seconds. He must have screwed up somewhere. But I would love to watch the whole day and night cycle changed a bit slower than it does. Entrance into the pit is very tricky here. Tires, soft, downforce is fine. Fuel, let's go with 50%. Save, sure, confirm. Oh, just give me 1 minute. Saved successfully. Nice thing is you don't have to do anything while in the pits. You can actually relax your hands, get the cramps out, let the mechanics do all the work, and the car drives itself. Michelin advertising on that, Bridgestone advertising on the actual racetrack, and your tires said something completely different. I believe they said infograms. And here's some Dunlop advertising, but that's just because it's historic. So we came out in position 2. How far ahead is he? Not too far. So it shouldn't be too hard. Can't see him just yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to catch up to him on the straights or get close to him. There he is. If you saw those 2 red pixels, there he is. Like I said, graphic-wise, this game is, I would say it's still pretty good. Not in terms of you would not see this in a current game, but comparing it to other racing games, this is definitely still quite acceptable. Like I said, this would probably do just fine as a mobile game. Should have probably just driven into him a wee faster. So he still hasn't hit the pits. Most of the field probably has, because they're so far behind. So you can see that his turning and braking is much worse than mine. I mean, it wasn't good to begin with, since the AI is pretty skittish to begin with, but as you can see, he runs off pretty easily right now. And as a result of that, whoop, wrong button. Where? This one. Yeah, that's the view we want. As a result of his not pitting, he's still going much slower than I am. With fresh tires, these turns are much easier. Not sure why Dad said that guy in second is a lap behind. He's not a lap behind, but he's going to be probably in a few hours, and we continue racing. 59 seconds behind. That's not right. I think the numbers get screwed up on your pit lap just because the computer doesn't seem to be able to handle the times that are so different due to the pit stop. So that lap time was about 30 seconds difference, so yeah, I guess we didn't make up enough time of a difference between our car and the second place guy. And that's why we came out in second there. It looks like he might have stopped in the pits now, so that difference is going to grow right now. So fresh tires, half a tank of gas. Let's see how well we can do as far as lap times go. Nobody ahead of me, and that should be that way until the end of the race, unless I screw up badly at some point. Could have done better there. Another thing that we haven't seen and most likely will not see is that there is actual weather conditions in this game. It could be raining if the game so chose, which would make the tire choices actually matter. Because as you can see, when I went into the pits, there was a choice of intermediate tires, which we have no use for as long as it's not raining. Ooh, way too late on that one. So that's definitely going to cost us a little bit of time there. And something that we can fix next time around, hopefully. Didn't expect that to happen. Generally, you can take that first one almost flat out. It's only at the top of the hill that you really need to hit the brakes. These turns here you can usually take flat out if you take the exact correct line through them. But of course the chicane you do need to hit the brakes for. And that was too much braking. New best lap time. Let's try to do a little bit better. Once that lap is complete by the guy in second, hopefully we will get a much more clear view of how far behind he is. While I don't expect to make another pit stop, it would be nice to know. Ooh, got too close there. It would be nice to know that I can do so and not lose time. Well, not lose space. I think that 56 seconds is accurate, unless he really screwed up near the pits or something. I would be guessing that he's probably about 40 seconds behind. Should be. Anyways, it's 1 p.m. Only 3 more hours to go. I guess it's possible that he's a minute behind if he was going really slowly to the pit area. Which means as long as I don't royally screw up, we should be safe to take another pit stop if we needed to. And a bad line into it too. So once this race is over, I'm planning on doing maybe a single run of the championship in one of the GT cars, just to show you guys the different tracks that are available in this game. While the game is pretty much all about this race at Le Mans here, it is a full sort of a full championship game as well, as far as the European version of the Le Mans goes. Would be neat to have a American Le Mans racing game as well. Not sure if there is one or not. I guess there probably is one, but nothing that's that's been done by any of the major developers. And that's a shame, because there are quite a lot of interesting tracks, not just in the US, but it would be nice to have the Canadian Moss Park truck represented in a race game. And we seem to be catching up to the guys in the back there. Though given that there's only 2 hours of racing to go, I'm not sure how close to them we will get. And we did get a lap record last time. That was nice. I'll figure the cars that we are catching up on are those. I can't remember what the classes are anymore as far as the cars go, but it would be like the Vipers and the Ferraris. as opposed to all the Porsches that we passed at night there. There's a car. Or at least some sort of a pixel that represents a car. So right now this game is playing at, I believe, 480i, which most Dreamcast games were. And I don't think this game supports the VGA box, which would upscale that to a 480p. What is it? It's a Porsche. Oh, interesting. An aggressive Porsche. That's okay. I am much faster. So 1 hour to go. We will probably get a low fuel warning at some point, but it should be okay. Take that corner flat out if you want to. But given there is another car here, slowing me down. Move! Move! Get off the road. It feels like this section of the racetrack is narrower or something. Or it's just that the Porsches are so freaking wide. Stop taking my racing line. I'm trying. There we go. All you have to do is bully them out of the way. So another nice feature that would be nice to have would be damage physics in this game. But obviously they would not be good for me if I was driving like that. But it's just another feature that didn't really exist all that much on the Dreamcast. I'm trying to think of any racing games on the Dreamcast that have damage physics, and I can't really think of any. So chances are we will get a last lap. This is going to be the last lap for us, because it is coming up on 4 o'clock. Just trying to have one last chance of getting an even better lap in, though I don't think it's going to happen as long as we have traffic ahead of us like that. For driving like this. Final lap, 4 o'clock, fuel low, nothing to worry about. All I need to do is make it last for half a lap. Catching up on some traffic here and did okay on the brakes. All surprising. Felt like I really screwed up on the brakes on the last one. That was this one that I screwed up on. It's okay. As long as we can overtake this guy before we get to the hill, we should be okay. Without crashing. Not that there is actual crashing in this game, but getting punted into the barriers would not be good. Go on our way to victory. Just one chicane to go. And that's the point where my tires decided to give up. And we did manage to get a best lap. If we didn't screw up with the tires on the last turn, I could have gotten better. Oh man. Have I complained about the Dreamcast controller yet? So I don't think there's a full replay of the race. Just want to see what this. Oh, this is. I believe these will be the credits or something like that. Though I just don't see it saving the whole race. As a replay, it's a lot of laps to say. We never know. I guess you can watch the cinematic angle of the race while my fingers recuperate. And this is the way the race did start. And that Ferris wheel definitely is not turning. Anyways, there we go. Load times aren't too bad. Dreamcast never really had bad load times. PlayStation 2 had much worse load times. So we managed to do 16 laps. Our best lap was 10 seconds faster than the other guy's best lap. As you can see, there were 24 cars that finished the race. The last guy finished 14 laps. We managed to do 16. As a result, we placed first. Look at that trophy. Toyota took second and third. And we won the Peugeot 905 with a top speed completely red. Not as good brakes, not as good handling, but good acceleration. So let's try out the championship season. I think we're gonna be shown the game credits for this one right now. But let's try out the championship season and see how that goes. And probably quit in the middle of it if my hands are too tired. It almost feels like you need to wear racing gloves or something just to drive this controller and not wear out your trigger fingers. Yep. Bruno Bonnell presents an Infogrames production, developed by Infogrames Melbourne House. Come on, team. So this is not a replay of the race that we just did. This is another, I guess, a scripted race or something. So we will skip this because nobody cares about the whole credits or watching the AI race. And let's go in. Let's do the championship. But first, I want to check out what the championship settings are, if there are any settings. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, so championship. So championship, as you can see, you have to do one after the other. Rookie GT, we will get to choose our Porsche car, and if we ever went through all of them, you do end up getting all the prototype cars. And then, as you can see, there's enduro races, which are not so much I think they're not 24-hour races of each track, but they're, instead of having 3 laps or whatever, it ends up being 20 laps or something like that. And Winter Challenge, I don't think I've ever unlocked the Winter Challenge when I played this game. So our choices are Vipers or Porsche. As far as performance go, they're all slightly different and slightly similar. Oh, this is GT2. Is this a Ferrari? I don't think it is. It's not a Viper. What does it say on the back? Toyota? Okay. I know my cars. So let's see. This one has good brakes, good handling, but the acceleration is worse. As far as speed goes, the Viper has the speed but doesn't have the braking and the handling. Let's see. I'll go with the Porsche. Let's say with Rock Racing or Conrad Motorsports. Yeah, let's go with this one. We'll stay on intermediate because these are going to be much shorter races. And we actually get to enter our name, wow. Strangely, we did not get a name entry for the Le Mans race. Even though that race was much longer. As far as a single race goes. So, we are starting with Suzuka East. Let's qualify for that. We already did Suzuka East for the time trial just to get the car that we were driving, the Audi. Oop. As you can see, it is no longer daytime here. It's sort of a sunset. Let's get used to this car and how it behaves. Other than spitting fire at us as we try to hit the brakes. Ugh. So these cars will definitely handle a little bit differently than the prototype car I was driving. So it will take a little bit of getting used to. As far as how far you can turn before the car wants to go other way around. Hold time is 45 seconds. That's gonna be tough to beat. Since we don't know how to drive this car, it was either go into the grass or go end over end. And I guess going into the grass was safer as far as time goes. But you will notice that I am leaving a lot more rubber on the road than I was doing with the prototype car. Since this car does lose traction a lot faster than that car was losing it. Like that car was driving pretty much like a dream until that last corner where I sort of lost it there. But otherwise, as long as I got my braking points right, it was doing fine. But this one, you definitely need to watch your speed in the turn as well. Excuse me. So we managed to qualify in last place. So we will have our work cut out for us. It is 5 laps, but it's very short laps. So I don't really think it's going to be easy. Chances are we will not come in first, but let's see how the other guys drive. Since now I only have to face the other cars in the same class, all the way from back here. Trying not to get the wheels spinning. Guys, I need room. Okay. Let's see if we can get some speed going. At least overtake these two guys who like to go together. That's the problem with punting people off the racetrack. They seem to take it personally. It's not personal, I just can't drive. Hey, hey, hey. So definitely lost traction there and went for a much longer turn that I really wanted to. Lap 3. Hopefully, as long as I don't screw up like that again, I'll be able to finish. Shit. I'll be able to finish on the podium, maybe. Maybe. That's a big maybe. I got too used to driving the prototype car. Jesus Christ. Just go off-roading. Not good results here. The guy in first is way too far ahead, I believe, for me to catch up to him. I was going to say, let's try to have a clean lap, but I don't think I'm capable of doing that in this car. The nice thing about driving the prototype car was that if you had enough traction, well, not traction, if you had enough speed to get into the corner and keep turning, it was fine. But with these ones, you definitely lose traction in the tires. So you really need to watch the speed that you take a corner with. The prototype car, as long as I didn't go too fast to just completely overshoot the turn, it was fine. So my dream of finishing on the podium in this race are definitely just dreams. I can't remember if you get points for finishing in 6th or you need to finish like 5th or something. There's that cone that I hit. Well, hopefully we will be able to finish 6th. Yeah. No. Since it is a championship, any points are good points. Don't need to watch the replay. So the problem with the Dreamcast controller, since I haven't complained about that yet, is that if you hold the trigger down, maybe it's not wide enough or something, but I'm getting like a pins and needles feeling in the middle of my finger. It's weird. It's not bad enough to not play. Yep, 6th place is the last place you can get points. So we got 1 point from that race. I guess it's something, like I said. Better than nothing. Let's see here. Donington National. Let's qualify. Most of the circuits that are in this game I actually really like. Like Donington Park is definitely a circuit that I really like. Suzuka was definitely one of them as well. But like I said, I don't remember most of these circuits right now. So it's almost like I'm driving them for the first time. Look at the little airplane there. Jesus. So I believe Donington Park was a airfield during World War II. And just like the real racetrack, which is there right now, there are like airplane displays alongside the racetrack. There is a longer version of this racetrack, which makes it... Didn't expect this chicane. Which makes a weird, like a U-shaped turn just before the pits here. I was expecting to just blow straight through here. Did not expect the chicane. But this is just qualifying. Doesn't matter if we finish last. There's a Spitfire on your right hand side there. We are trying to get 106. Don't think we'll get anywhere close to it. So one of the things I like about this circuit is that the visuals are really neat in here. Like you can see the hills that make up some of this racetrack. There's those airplanes. The pits are exactly the way they're supposed to be. They really paid attention to how the race circuit is supposed to look like when they made the version of it. Best lap 113. That's not going to do it. I'm pretty sure we're going to be last once more. And survey says, yep, by a whole 3 seconds. Well, let's keep going. Maybe we'll get some more points. I'm not sure what place you need to finish the whole championship to qualify for the next one, but I think you need to finish on the podium. I think. I'm not sure. But it's also possible you need to finish first, which is obviously not going to happen with the way I'm driving. As long as we can catch up to a decent spot, or maybe first, before they get too spread out, we should be okay. But if they are going 2 or 3 wide, like they're trying to do right now, this might be a problem. Whoa! Shit. No. So like I said, there's no crashing in this game. But if you do get stuck, you get screwed. It was nice being in that, what was it, 5th place or so while I was there. Now we need to play catch up, and we are definitely not going to finish at the podium either. And all it took was one indestructible cardboard barrier. Trying to drive aggressively now, since I don't have all that much to lose, but they are doing pretty good by themselves. Right now I'm just hoping I'll be maybe able to finish in the points. No. Watch out for that ESO barrier. Everybody drive on the grass. Latest fashion. Move. That was unfortunate. Just gotta bully my way into it. Just like he's bullying his way in as well. You could just give me a little space here. Girl. He's gonna want to come onto my spot here as well. Drive me right into the barrier. So like I said, the AI doesn't quite take a racing line for any of the turns, but as you saw from that example there, they do have a certain line that they do want to take. And given that there's no damage physics and it works both ways, they will try to bully their way through and take that spot from you. So right now the best spot to be is on the inside of that corner, because the other cars will try to take the outside. Well, maybe there is a chance of finishing on the podium after all, but let's not jinx it. So I did not touch him there. He went off by himself. But I am not going to complain, because I have a chance finishing first. Don't get pushy. Yep, he definitely went off. As long as we don't screw up here. Almost driving into the barriers would definitely be a screw up. But we should be safe. So that went better than expected. What I find interesting is that the AI never drives according to their qualifying time. Like my best lap time there is 1 minute 9, which would still not have been good enough to qualify first. I think, what was it, first place was 107 or something like that. And they're nowhere near that time when they're actually driving. Got 10 points. Which moves us into second place. Wow. As long as we can keep scoring points, we should be okay. Round 3 of 3. Well, okay, so we definitely need to score good points here. This is Catalunya, which is a Spanish, I believe, racetrack. Spanish? I think so. Best lap time by Matthew. Another circuit that I do like quite a bunch. But once again, one that I don't remember how it goes. So you will just have to bear with my terrible driving. Trying to read Discord and drive a car, not a good idea. It's gonna be a long straightaway. Try to put it off until then. Whoa! So as you can see, you can definitely spin around and around if you want to, but I definitely did not want to. But this is not my qualifying lap, so we're still okay as long as we get familiar with the racetrack. Okay, let's see. Need to hit that apex. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's hard to hit the apex when you don't even remember what the turn looks like, even though you just did it. Beautiful Spanish rolling hills with houses on them in the background. I believe the next turn is the one we went for. Right? Off-camber turn. So that's problematic. Just cut right through the grass. You hit 100% of apexes if you just make the turn up however you want. But if you hit the barriers, it doesn't count. Last place once more. Let's see, last place. Last place. So let's take a look. Best lap time 105, almost 106. Let's see what their best time will be in the actual race. So as you play these championship modes, you not only unlock different cars, wheel spin, but you also unlock the other racetracks as well. I believe this game has about a dozen or so, maybe more if you count all the variations. Like we saw, there was the Suzuka East circuit. There's of course the full Suzuka circuit, and there's also, I believe, the Suzuka West circuit that shows up at some point. I don't think there's a longer version of this racetrack, but I'm not sure of that. I almost feel like there is one. Yeah, I think there is one that starts differently. Instead of having the U-shaped turn at the beginning, it goes into a different section of the ship. I just force them off the field. It's the best way to race. He really wants to be where I am. See the placement. Porsche, 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 Porsche. I think the first one is Porsche. Oh. So a nice long circuit. It's a lot easier to overtake these guys and get into a decent position. That's why I'm not too worried about qualifying, because I know over the course of the race be able to overtake him. If this was like a full Le Mans style race, it would definitely be a bigger problem, since you would have 20 something cars in front of you. But with only, what was it, 12 cars, it's not too bad. Trying not to spin around in that corner there. Managed to make up a nice little lead here. So our best time isn't that much better than our qualifying time, but still much better than what the computer is doing right now. Even though the computer should be able to do this lap 4 seconds faster than I am right now. So it makes me wonder if the qualifying times are not something that the actual AI sets. They're just sort of randomly picked possible qualifying times. I'm sure those qualifying times and those lap times is something that the computer is capable of doing on the expert difficulty, but they're clearly not capable of doing it on the intermediate difficulty. but it does give you a good idea of how I compare to the expert difficulty. If this was set on expert, I would be last. No doubt about it. I don't really have the skills to consistently do a lap at 4 seconds faster, no matter how much faster this car is in a straight line. And it's so much easier to lose traction on in these cars. The lap time was just 1:11 on that one. But I guess this should be good enough to win. Well, look at those brakes. Look at me driving on the grass. Interesting that the light from the brakes wasn't actually part of the brakes. It was just sort of glowing in that general area. Oh, so there we go. We finished first. As you can see, best lap times for them are 1:13 and change for most of them. So they are like 7 seconds off their good pace. 21 points. We won the championship. Just gonna show you guys, if I can somehow find all the different circuits that are here. Then I'm gonna call it quits because my hands are getting pretty tired. First place, championship trophy. Second team was a Marcos. Then there was Chamberlain. And we won a new car, a Viper GTS R. And another team, Team Orca, another Viper. So these are actual teams that did take part in the 24-hour Le Mans at some point or another, or at least when this game was made. Let's see here. Progress, maybe? Records? So these are just the lap records. So as you can see, let's see how many circuits there are. There's Le Mans, there's Bugatti, which, like I said, was a race circuit that's inside the Le Mans circuit. Brno, which is, I believe, in the Czech Republic. Donington in England. Catalunya in Spain, that's 5. Suzuka East in Japan, 6. 7 for the West, and that's it. So maybe I was off, but that sounds about right as far as all the circuits go. Though I seem to think there was a full Suzuka circuit, so I'm not sure why it's only Suzuka East and West being shown here. That's weird. Let's see. Yeah, see, there is a Suzuka GP at the bottom there, and I believe that's the full Suzuka circuit. If you qualify, like if you finish all the quick races. Donington, Catalunya, Le Mans, Suzuka East, Suzuka West, Brno, Donington, Bugatti, Catalunya, GP. Yeah, so there is the national and the GP, so there is definitely a different circuit. So if we count those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 circuits. Not too bad. And they're all good circuits. They're definitely worth racing. This is definitely one of my most favorite racing games. It continues to be so, but my biggest problem with it is that the difficulty isn't quite adjusted for me. On the intermediate, it's too easy for me. On the expert, it's way too hard. If there was another difficulty in between those, this game I would say would be perfect, at least for me. If you do have a chance to pick up this game, test drive Le Mans 24 hours, go ahead and do so. It is a fantastic game. It came out on the Dreamcast, and I believe there's also a version for the PlayStation 2 and maybe for the Xbox. But for now, I am going to tell you guys good night because my hands are tired. As far as other streams go, I keep saying I might stream on Sunday or Saturday. I might stream on Saturday or Sunday, depending how things go. I don't have to work on Monday, so maybe I will stream on Sunday, most likely for sure. I do mean to finish off, well, not finish off, but at least continue playing Shenmue, because it is going to get a little bit more interesting as you leave that part of town. So maybe I am going to do that this Sunday. Like I said, I don't have to work on Monday, so I should be able to do it, bearing any unforeseen circumstances. But for now, I am going to say good night as the Infograms logo plays. And I continue to try to remember what Melbourne House used to be known as. And I'm pretty sure I'll remember it 5 minutes after I finish the stream. But for now, good night. You guys have a great night.